Good afternoon. Thanks for watching this special edition of the BCP Live. I'm Joey McWilliams, and this is a presentation of the Bryan County Patriot. It is a special opportunity to get to visit a little bit about what's going on in our county, in this area, and all around. And I'm going to turn it over now to our special guest host, Senator David Bullard.
Well, thank you, Joey, and thank you so much for helping us set this up, Joey. You have been a saint in this process. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have the opportunity, I would encourage you to go check out the Bryan County Patriot and go give him a solid look and get him a like and pay attention. Joey's doing some good work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're living in some pretty unprecedented times, and I think that's why we, as a group of leaders in this area, wanted to make sure that we came in and tried to talk with you and update you on some of the different things going around in the area. And so we appreciate you listening and paying attention to what's going on and for your patience as we deal with these trying times right now. What we want to do with this panel, the idea is to brief you on several different issues. Number one, we want to talk about the census because the census is so important and it is a big issue. And so we want to discuss that and talk with you about that. We want to discuss the COVID-19 and give you some updates on the COVID-19 situation is statewide, but especially right here in Marshall County. And then we wanted to talk a little bit about the tornado that went through that is having and had such a big impact on us. And so I think what we'll do is just start over here with James. James, if you would just introduce yourself and everybody else on the panel, just introduce yourself and your position.
My name is James Fullingam. I'm the city manager for the city of Medill.
I'm Robert Holliday, Community Affairs Manager for OG&E.
I'm Donnie Rayleigh. I'm the Emergency Manager for the City of Medill.
I'm Will Bain. I'm a Commercial Loan Officer at Bank First.
And I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Senator Bullard for this area.
Tommy Harden, State Representative for this area.
Shane Jemison, the District 2 Chairman of the Oklahoma Republican Party.
Tracy Byers, Chief Administrative Officer, Alliance Health Medill.
Josh Cantrell, County Commissioner, District 2.
Chris DuRoy, Marshall County Commissioner, District 3.
So what we want to do is discuss what's been going on, first off, with the census and where we are in the census and some of the things going on with it. I wanted to start by talking about the census. One of the things we need to understand is that we're probably not going to have door-to-door, and we're sure not having it right now with the COVID-19. So one of the way you're going to have to fill out the census, and we would encourage you here today to fill out that census, is to go to census.gov and fill it out. If you're waiting on the paper slip to come to you, it's probably not coming. And so you need to just go to the website and fill that out. And I would also encourage you that if you're struggling with how to do it and how to get that done and where to get the resources and those kinds of things to fill out the census, you can reach out to either Tommy Harden or I, and we can help you. Our office can assist you get those kinds of things done to make sure that we get this filled out. But it's extremely important that we get this filled out. And part of the discussion of this panel was to go around and kind of discuss what's going on with the census and how this is working and why it's so important. And so we would start over here with you. If you would please kind of just discuss some of the things that are important to you. And then if you guys have questions, just let me know and we can kind of chime in and echo some of our own sentiments and thoughts.
Well, thank you. First off, as a county commissioner, we take care of all your county roads and bridges, and we have a lot of different funds that all of that stuff comes down through. Most of it is tied to the petroleum industry. The census is the most important thing to get us funding for your roads. It's a ratio, and it's based on your population that live in your county versus road miles, and this formula works down. And when you have 25% coming in, filling out the census, then we're down 75% on our road funds already. We've got 16,000 people right now from the last census, so that's what we're getting money on. When in all actuality, we may have closer to 25, 30,000 people, and that would up the funds to fix our roads. It's very important for us to do our jobs. These numbers have got to be good, and they've got to be accurate for us to do our jobs the proper way. Thank you.
Yeah, also as a county commissioner, I'd like to echo what Commissioner DuRoy said. And my personal thoughts on the census are that the census is a mandate of the citizens put in the Constitution of the United States. This is your obligation as a citizen to fill out the census. And this is in no way an item that is going to track you. You know, this ain't a big brother issue. This is be counted. So we know where people are. We know how much the population is. So we can allocate money for not just roads, but power, phones, all your other major utilities that we're using, and make your life better. If we've got a county that's got 20,000 people and our census comes in at 12, we're not going to be getting the allocations that we need. We're not going to be getting the assistance that we need to help us and help all the other people sitting at this table, help you live a better life. And so if you would please go census.gov, fill out your papers. And if you need any assistance, please contact one of your local officials. They'll be more than happy to help you get through the process of filling out your papers.
So as a hospital administrator, my concern about the census is an accurate count of the population, because so much of what the state allows when it comes to anything health related is population based. The state has funds that can assist us with helping to recruit physicians to Marshall County. The Medicaid funding, of course, is based on population as well. So it helps us if it gets one more physician here to the community that's recruited, and it's funds that come from the state because of an accurate census count, it's worth it, because in rural settings such as this, it can be challenging sometimes to recruit physicians, clinicians that can help serve Marshall County. So please fill out the census. It's quick and easy, and can be done online.
You know, as our county commissioners mentioned and gentlemen mentioned, healthcare, infrastructure, roads and bridges are very important. Within the 2nd Congressional District, reaching from southern Kansas all the way down to North Texas in this region, 26 counties, we see about an average return right now of about 35 to 40% on the census. Some areas we're seeing a larger return, others we are not. It is vital to ensure that we increase that return. This particular region in eastern Oklahoma has one of the highest Native American populations with the Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation, and Choctaw Nation right here in our backyards here. In addition to that, you know, as we're moving forward, it is vital, billions of dollars at stake when we're talking, like we said, infrastructure, but some things we don't think of when we think of infrastructure, particularly in a time such as the pandemic situation we're dealing with now, is the importance of broadband infrastructure and how that's affecting our education community.
One of the things that'll affect for us as legislators, it'll be our districts. District boundaries will be changing and have to be moved one way or the other. So if not everybody in the district is signing up and doing the census, then you may lose some influence and more of the district switch to another county or something. So it'd be very important to register here in Marshall County and wherever you're at to keep your representation right.
Go ahead. Robert, why don't you go ahead?
I'd like to say that, first of all, thanks for Senator and Representative for doing this. Appreciate that very much. And I'd like to say that we need you. We need you to respond. We need everybody to participate. We need you to find a way to get people to respond to the census. If it's you call your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, aunt, uncle, whoever it is, encourage them to do the census. We need that response to them. As I was looking at the population, which is the estimated population of Marshall County, was 16,413. And if you took the 1765 per person, which would be everyone in your family, if you took that population of 16,413 times the 1765, I believe, and if you times that, it come out to be 29 million around that area. If we only have 40% or 42 as we did in 2010, we're not even getting half of what could be coming to our county. think about what it could happen if we were able to get that extra for our area. And I encourage and I challenge not only Marshall County, but Bryan County and Johnston County and this southern part of Oklahoma. I've seen everybody in this area pull together and make things happen that I'm not sure could in other locations. So we need your help. We need us to pull together and let's make this thing happen. And let's get up in the 80s and 90 percentile. And I appreciate that. And thank you for doing this. We appreciate that.
And yes, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everybody in the room for coming together today. I think these issues are extremely important for us to address. And certainly the census is about allocation of tax dollars. And without filling out their census correctly and without getting the federal funds that our state much needs, our state cannot have the programs that we currently have to take care of us Oklahomans. And some of the things that I'm very passionate about, making sure that we can take care of are people with health care. Without these tax dollars, we're not going to be able to have the programs to take care of people with health care. Something else that I'm very passionate about is a national school lunch program. Currently, we have children that is their one meal a day that they receive that they can have every day that's steady. And without these programs, these kids will not be fed properly. These kids will not have the nutrition that they need. And it's very important that we get these programs and keep them in place. And what happens is the federal government gives us tax dollars based on the amount of, based on our population, the census return. And these programs can't be funded if we don't have the proper population. So anyway, it's very important to me that we get this. And one other thing that's very important to me is the highway planning and construction. Myself, along with everybody else, want to see better roads, the highway and bridges and everything in Oklahoma. Of course, everybody knows we are a state that needs a lot of work, and that's where our dollars come from. So I do ask that you go to census.gov and help us out by getting your census return, please.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Let me just wrap up by saying this. National average right now is at about 50%. Oklahoma is sitting right at about 45%. Just to give you some perspective around the area, Congressional District 2, which is what we live in, that's Mark Wayne Mullins' district, is sitting at 34%. Right now, Marshall County is sitting right even at 17% of reporting right now at this point. And so I challenge you on something. If what you want are better roads and bridges in your area, if you're passionate as I am about better schools, if you're passionate about better hospitals, and one thing that this disaster and this pandemic has shown us is the need for better hospitals in our area and to help those hospitals out. And you play a role in this. Every part of being a citizen is that you have a role to play in each and everything. Voting is a role that you play, but filling out the census is as well. And I would echo what the county commissioner said. This is not about a big brother idea. This is about the allocation of those dollars, as James said, and it's to know how many dollars need to be flooded into the area. And so we would really encourage you to go and do that. And I would even challenge you to maybe pick 5 different people that you know and call them and ask them if they've done the census. And if they haven't, maybe go to their house or go talk to them. Of course, you can't go to their house now. But when we're open back up, give them a call and talk them through how to get through the census and how to get that done. And we're working on some other plans and some other thoughts about how we might be able to assist you and help you to get that census done. But we would encourage that. So let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about COVID-19 and what's going on around the area and kind of the impact of it. And so I thought we might start again on the reverse order with James, and maybe you might be able to discuss kind of from a city level, but everybody here just approach the COVID-19 from what you've seen at a county level. We'll approach it from a state level, and we'll skip me, and I'll wrap up. So Representative Harden, you can go right after the other person here is, and then we can go from there, and I'll wrap up with some thoughts on it. Okay, does that sound good? Okay, James, you have the floor, sir.
Locally here, the city of Madill, it's right now virtually impossible for me to know exactly how hard we're going to be hit financially. I know we are going to take an economic hit. It's something that's going to affect our city. I'm hoping on a very temporary basis, but certainly it's something that's going to affect us. A lot of our businesses here are essential businesses, so they've been able to maintain operations. So I think that really helped us out a lot, or at least I'm hoping so. However, it's hurt a lot of our local businesses, restaurants. I know that they've taken a major downturn in revenue. Some have even shut down during this time just for safety. They've chosen not to even open their doors up. Others that are having to do curbside only. I know that they're way down in what their sales are. I think that the way we're going to open back up in the future is going to be a safe way. I think phasing it in like the governor is going to do is a very good idea. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I think it's time that we actually start taking those steps like what our governor's doing. As far as how bad it's affected us here, like I said, it's something that I don't know yet, just how big the impact is going to be. That's upcoming in the next few months. I'll have those answers. I'm hoping for the best. I think Medill is very strong. I think our economy here is strong, and our businesses seem to be doing very well. And I'm hoping that as we transition, our business come back open, that we don't have any closures. I hope we don't lose a restaurant or any other type of business, but I'm fairly confident that Medill will maintain.
I'll take a second to mention with him talking about businesses possibly having issues and on the verge of shutting down. I want to bring to light the SBA PPP loan program that they have, that President Trump signed the second edition of money to, that will go live at 9:30 on Monday morning. The program is designed to allow you to continue to operate, probably not do what your business is supposed to be doing, but still pay your employees and allow them to still have an influx of income and not be on unemployment or something like that, and allow you to hire them back if you had to let them go prior to this. It's important for you as a business owner to look into what you need to do to get into that program. It's a small business administration deal, so it's for your small business. I encourage you to call your local banker. I encourage you you can call me. I'd be more than happy to help you out. I work at Bank First, and I'll be happy to walk you through it. It's very important for you to survive during this, and the only way to do that is take what's been allocated for this program. It's a very simple 2-page application. Self-employed individuals need to provide their Schedule Cs from their tax returns. It doesn't have to be a filed copy. It just has to be that form. It's very important that we have all these documents when you come in so that we can process it accurately and quickly so that you can receive the funding. They're indicating that the funds of this second wave will be gone fast. Nobody knows how fast, but it will be gone fast. So try to look into it. Like I said, you can give me a call at the bank. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about the program. And again, it goes live again on Monday at 9:30.
Well, one of my concerns has always been about the cities and the counties, the shutting down of everything, the tax dollars that generates the sales tax that the counties and the cities won't have. And that's what pays our first responders. And, that's was very key to us just a few days ago, that having them around. And if we're not able to pay them, I don't expect them to work for free. But, that's one of the things that I've brought up to Wayne Mullen, Representative Mullen, and also to Senator Langford, that there may need to be some stimulus there to help the cities and the counties recover from the loss of sales tax also, but not every state is done the same way. So, how they address that, I'm not exactly sure. But talking with the governor yesterday, I did mention the fact that when he shut down the whole state, basically the people that had lake homes all came down here and started buying up our supplies and everything at Walmart. Talked with the Walmart manager today, and she was saying that, they couldn't order extra supplies in because they were capped because of the virus. And so there's a lot of things that created by shutting everything down that it may take a little while to recover from. But I'm hopeful that what the governor has done and will do will slowly get us back on a steady funding, but we may suffer for, I'm afraid, for a few years of this, trying to get things caught back up. But that's just what my thoughts are.
So at the hospital, of course, we've had to look at the COVID from a different perspective. My concern has been, how do I take care of the employees that work for us, because the rules that were governing how we provide protective gear would sometimes change 2 to 3 times a day. The different organizations, Center for Disease Control, Center for Medicare, every day there'd be new rules on what type of protective equipment you were supposed to wear, what was the right stuff. At the same time, you want to make sure you're able to take care of the patients that normally are coming to your hospital, that are in your hospital. But we have also been impacted just by the fact that we couldn't do elective surgeries. We had to limit a lot of the procedures. And then just from the general fear factor, a lot of the public just simply was not coming to the hospital or the doctor's office anymore. So some of our doctors have had to do different roles. Maybe instead of working in their clinic because the patients aren't coming to the clinic, maybe they're working in the hospital setting more than they were. But now that the governor has put out the executive order that kind of allows surgeries to start today, actually, and May 1st fully, we need to get the message out to the public that our hospitals are safe enough that they can come back to and do some of the elective things that were taking place before, because our employees are impacted by this just as much as anybody else. Many of them have been working extra hours, not had the break, not been, at home on quarantine or anything like that. So some of our staff, it's a testament to them and the dedication for the number of hours that they have put in with this. I will also say it's also a testament to the people of Marshall County, how many businesses have donated food to us and donated supplies. We have our volunteers can't come into the hospital anymore and run the gift shop. They're making masks for our employees to wear, or their families, and just realize how much this community really appreciates its hospital.
Tracy, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Would you update them on kind of how the testing is going? I know that there's a lot of myths and rumors floating around there about the rapid testing and how long it's taking,
Right.
and how that's working. Would you just update where we are on testing?
Sure. So the hospital itself always had the capability of testing once this became the COVID pandemic. We've only tested 6 at the hospital. All have been negative, and average response of all our tests have been between 72 and 96 hours. So we think that's fairly decent return. They are working on some more rapid test results that can come back within 24 hours. I know they're testing them in different parts of the country. And then you have things like the health department where they've done a drive-through clinic setup as well. But that's one thing we're hearing from kind of our group purchasing organization and others, just all the different tests that they're making available. So it's changing every couple of days as far as what will be available to us.
And one other thing, where are we on all the PPE and supplies that we need here at the hospital here in
Sure.
Marshall County? Would you update that as well?
Yeah, the hospital, I think we were always in a good position. We have a good good relationship with Alliance Health Durant. They're kind of our sister facility, and we share a lot of the same employees. We share a lot of the same clinicians. We share a lot of the same resources. At the beginning, maybe if we didn't have enough hand sanitizer, they'd bring us some, or maybe if they didn't have enough, they'd borrow it from us. So there was never a moment where we were overly concerned about running out or running low. We had to find vendors and get it to here just like anyone else, but that we were very well taken care of.
Thank you.
On the county level, all of our road crews have been working every day and staying extremely busy trying to keep the roads safe. All of our office staff at the courthouse, they're actually getting some stuff caught up because they haven't had the foot traffic. They haven't had to wait on the customer or constituent daily. So of course we're looking forward to opening back up. Property sales are still going on. They've kind of been pretty innovative about getting all their deeds and everything filed and getting all the stuff. The court system is they're doing what they need to do to keep people safe and keep criminals off the street. Of course, Danny has been working real hard to keep his jail safe and keep it, quarantined to a point. I mean, I guess if you're in jail, you're quarantined, but you don't want it to get into the system. And the economic impact, like Representative Harden said, this is going to last for a while. Most of the big tournaments, the large bass tournaments and things like that have canceled. And a lot of them have already folded up for the year. They're just going to take a year off. Well, that takes a year off of the tourism at Lake Texoma because it's one of the major players on most of those circuits. That gets our hotels and motels, just the traffic through Medill, that they stop at all the restaurants, they stop at Walmart. You know, they buy a lot of stuff. They spend a lot of money in our county. You know, it's a lot of those are shut plumb down, and they're probably not going to rebook. They're not good to have them in the heat of the summer. It's hard on the fishery. There'll still be a lot of people down here. A lot of people still spending a lot of money, you know, in sales tax. And so far, you know, we've only had 2 cases, so we've been pretty safe. I think we're handling it pretty well as a community.
Thank you, all of you, for that. And Tracy, we'd also like to thank you guys that are on the front lines of this COVID-19 deal, with everybody who works in that hospital. We want to say we are very appreciative of what you guys are doing, because y'all can't stay home. You have to come there. And so we're very, very thankful for what you guys are doing and putting yourself on that line. So we appreciate that very much. I would kind of echo some of the things that they're saying. And from my perspective and Representative Harden's perspective, it's going to be hard on the budget. And that's where we think all the time, because that's what we're always constantly watching, and it bases the decisions that we make. And so we've made some tough decisions. One of the best things that we've ever done was to put back over $1 billion in savings. And so now we have to make sure that we're protecting some of that and protecting those agencies by using the money in a smart fashion. I do want to thank the governor for reopening the economy in the manner that he's doing it. I think he's doing it in a wise way. I wrote a letter to the governor asking him and giving him 10 different reasons why we should reopen this economy, but do it in a wise fashion, because the last thing we want is for this to break back out again. But we can reopen this economy and get all of our businesses back to work. And I would make a proposal to you, and I'll challenge you just like I did on the census. You just got money that came in from the federal government. Spend that money local. Your local restaurants and barbershops and stores need those dollars, and they need them right here in Marshall County. And so I would encourage you to spend that money here. Don't go across the border. Spend it right here. And so we appreciate that. And Commissioner, I don't think we've found a bass yet in Lake Texoma that has COVID-19, have we?
No, sir.
That's good. You keep.
I've kissed a few of them.
Yeah. Well, keep searching, and I'm looking for the crappie that's got it. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you guys for your input. We appreciate you. Last but definitely not least, we had not planned this meeting because of the events that happened just a few days ago. But I'm thankful now that we have, because it's going to give us a unique opportunity to kind of give you guys an update on the tornado that hit. And the other night when we were watching the TV, I had 4 tornadoes on the ground in my district at the same time in 5 different counties. And that's rough on my area, and aged me about a year or 2 further than I should have. And so our thoughts and prayers go out with you as to what happened. But what we want to do now is kind of give an update as to what's going on in the area as far as cleanup. And we'll get to you guys and maybe talk about some of the cleanup that's going on and the different strides that are going on there. But I'm very thankful, too, that we also have our emergency management director here, and he can discuss what's going on from that aspect. And everybody here at this panel has a unique position on this because of the events that happen. So, Mr. City Manager, would you start us off and talk about the tornado? And if you don't mind, perhaps give us a synopsis of what happened, and then maybe talk about it from that city perspective.
Okay. First off, everybody's aware that we did have a tornado. Now, I'm going to let Donnie Rayleigh give the details on exactly how the tornado come through and the destruction that actually happened. But before I begin, I want to say that I feel like we as a community, our public safety personnel, I want to thank Donnie Rayleigh for the job he did as the emergency management director. I feel like we handled it very well. Certainly with anything, when you look back, you could always do something just a little bit better. But I feel like what we did, we handled it very, very well. And I feel like we had adequate help. As a matter of fact, I want to brag on our community in the way that we come to aid whenever someone is in need. We were actually having to turn help down. We had more, especially the firefighters, we had more firefighters coming to our location than what we actually needed. And we had plenty of staff on hand, and we still had them coming. We were having to turn people around and have them not respond because we have such a good response rate. And I think that speaks volumes, not only about us, but us as Southern Oklahoma, but us as Oklahomans in general. If you look at disasters that's happened in Oklahoma, people from all over the state show up to help. And I think that would be anywhere in the state of Oklahoma. I think that just speaks volumes about we as Oklahomans. But right now, to fast forward, right now we are in the cleanup phase, and we've got a lot of debris that the city's having to pick up. And I think that's going to take probably another 2 to 3 days for us to get all of it picked up. And rebuilding phase. Our businesses are in a rebuilding phase. We've got 2 large businesses that were hit heavy, J&I Manufacturing and Oklahoma Steel and Wire. And right now they are working every day very hard with their employees, or keeping them employed. They've got all their employees coming to work, but they are rebuilding. And I think they'll be back up and running in no time. I'm confident in it. And really, is there another part that you want me to cover with this?
No, whatever you.
Okay, absolutely. But like I said, I want to thank our first responders for the job that they did that night. It made my job a lot easier. I was extremely busy, and having such a good incident commander, I want to thank him and Donnie Rayleigh as well. And it certainly made my life a lot easier that night. But like I said, right now we've just got we're in a rebuild phase, and I think that it's going to take a little bit of time before we're back up and running with our companies. But we will be there, and we'll be rebuilt and be back stronger than ever.
Thank you, James. I would like to say that the events that occurred on Wednesday came upon us as a surprise, but we had been receiving advance warning from the National Weather Service for a couple of days that the potential for severe weather on Wednesday afternoon was very possible. And I've got to say, excuse me, I watch Channel 12, KXI Channel 12 in the mornings, and Tom Hale just happened to be the weatherman that was given the weather for the early show that Wednesday morning. And when he talked about the potential for severe weather later on in that afternoon, the actual concern on his face and the warnings that he gave during each breakout session actually caused me concern, because you really don't see a meteorologist on TV that is that concerned about the weather. But one thing that stuck out in my mind that he said, and he circled Marshall County, Bryan County, Johnston County, Carter County, and said, you have a 1 in 3 chance of having a tornado today. And so when I got to my office and we started watching the weather, around 2 o'clock, it became evident that there were a couple of cells that should concern Marshall County. And we watched it as it progressed across Lake Murray. And it became more severe, a large hail core. At that time, I went over to the EOC and started operations there. At about 4 o'clock, we started getting really concerned with the weather service. And of course, as everyone knows, at 4:30, around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon, then we had the first touchdown of the tornado. It touched down just about a mile west of Madill at J&I Manufacturing first, traveled on to the east and slightly to the south. The next area of concern that it hit was the Holy Cross Catholic Church as it continued on across the field there from the church, and it hit Oklahoma Steel and Wire and proceeded on south and east until it hit the little trailer park. The National Weather Service was on scene yesterday. They did a survey of the tornado path, did a measurement of the tornado, and it was determined that we had an EF2 tornado. The path was approximately 4 miles long, and it measured to be about 100 yards wide. We were very fortunate that we had state officials with us yesterday, both Senator Bullard and Representative Hardin. We also had on scene the director of the Oklahoma Office of Emergency Management, Mr. Mark Gower. And then, of course, Governor Stitt came, and we were very fortunate and thankful for all those officials to be here to immediately set up state aid as far as getting our damage assessments done, getting our debris management in place, to see what kind of funding, if we can get any at all from the federal government and from FEMA. Those things are still being calculated at this time. So I want to give a very special thank you to our state officials for being so diligent. In fact, the Office of Emergency Management had 2 state officials on scene Wednesday night as the incident command was progressing. So we were very thankful that they responded so quickly. I don't want to stop before I thank all the emergency services from the surrounding counties who emerged on Marshall County on Wednesday night. It was just absolutely unbelievable, the amount of love and support that we received from our surrounding counties. I can't thank everybody enough, from the law enforcement side to the fire side to the medical side. We felt the love, and I just want you to know how much we appreciate it, and thank you very much for that.
Real quick question, Donnie, how will that work on FEMA? I know that there's a $6 million benchmark that they've got to hit, but maybe talk a little bit about the importance of reporting the damage, no matter what it is, to you guys, so that you can start getting a count on the amount of money, so that we might approach that $6 million cap.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to encourage everybody that was in anywhere close to the tornado path. If you think that you have any damage that is related to the storm, please go to damage.ok.gov and report that damage. There is a threshold on the federal level that we need to meet in order to receive any kind of FEMA funding, and I believe it is capped at $6 million. I know our 2 manufacturing plants took a huge hit. But in order for us to get there, we need to count. It's almost like the census. We need to count every tree. We need to count every shingle. If you had any damage as a result of Wednesday's tornado, please. And if you didn't get a visit from an emergency management official yesterday, please go to damage.ok.gov and report that damage so that it can be counted.
Well, and I just wanted to say thank you, Donnie, for the great job that you did. And, it just seems like we were very organized for all this. Robert getting there and going, I believe he got up in the helicopter and surveyed the damage, but y'all did an outstanding job. And I think the governor and the director were pretty impressed when they got here, and y'all were already sent out all the teams and evaluations and just looking for everything. But I think they were very impressed, and I think we're very fortunate for having y'all here for this time.
We are very fortunate in this county. We have 3 emergency managers. We have one in the city of town of Kingston, and myself, and then Robert Cheney, the county director. And then he also has a deputy director that I can't say enough for the help that we receive from the county, from the town of Kingston. And you practice, you play as you practice. And fortunately, we've been able to work really, really well together, and the plan came together. And so I don't take any credit. I give credit to the entire county, because it worked very well.
And one other thing, maybe speak to how the Chickasaws helped, because I noticed one of the first things I noticed when I got there was the Chickasaws had a trailer there, food, water, which I know some of that had been delivered, but I think the Chickasaws partnered well with us. And so maybe talk about some of their support role in that.
Absolutely.
And helping us.
One of the very first phone calls that I received was from a member of the Chickasaw Nation saying, "What do you need? We are on our way. What do you need?" And they, one of the things that we did need at the point was a command trailer. And we knew that they had drones. And at that point, we didn't know if we had any citizens that were going to still be missing or not accounted for. And so they immediately dispatched their resources to us, along with, I don't know how many Chickasaw Light Horse police officers showed up to assist. But just the fact that they're in our backyard and they're so willing to help, and they stayed here until we were completely done. They brought, I don't know how many drones that flew the entire 4-mile path of the tornado. which also assisted the National Weather Service in determining the amount of damage that was done. So yes, it was a great resource. And like I said, we didn't even have to ask. They called us and said, what do you need? Whatever we have at our disposal is certainly yours to have.
Well, I wanted to thank OG&E. I believe y'all got all the power back
Oh,
on
gosh, yes.
in record time, and I think you finished up today. I believe is that right, Robert?
Pretty close. I think we still are Smiley Road. I think we got a little bit more there to do. But OG&E would like to thank the public for their patience. And I know it's a trying time when you don't have electricity and it's not very convenient. But thank you all for being patient and for all the things that you had to offer for us, such as water, food. Thank you guys for that. And then all the city's response, the county, and everyone that wanted to help emergency management to allow us the opportunity to go in and put our poles up. We've just got to be able to work together to be able to make these things happen. And OG&E wants to tell you thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I want to echo what the representative said too. This is the first time in my career that I've ever seen the entire city of Madill without power. It's a very spooky thing. And I was blowing Robert's phone up, how are we going to get this done? Because my concern was not only that we had lives that were still in danger, that we were still searching for, but the security of the city going forward for our law enforcement, which we had a lot of on scene. But I kept being told 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we'd try to have power back on, and OG&E had Madill back up and running by 10:30 p.m. So huge shout out to Robert and his crew, because they just did an outstanding job getting the town of Madill back in service.
Yeah, I'd like to make a little comment in response to the warning systems. A couple of years ago, Marshall County partnered with Madill and Kingston to install what we refer to as the Hyper Reach program. If you are unfamiliar with it and you live in Marshall County, please contact the Emergency Management Office. We will get you signed up. If you had issues and didn't receive, please contact the Emergency Management Office in Marshall County, and we can find out why you didn't get, because the Hyper Reach came out 20 to 25 minutes before the tornado got here. This is one of the things you can't really guarantee that it saved lives, but I know that with the minor loss of life that we had, I believe that, only loss of life is bad, but I believe it's helped save life and definitely helped save a lot of injuries. So this partnership with Marshall County, Madill, and Kingston with the Hyper Reach program and it's a free app. It doesn't cost a citizen a penny. Get signed up for it. It's a text message to your phone. It's a phone call, or it's an email. You can pick whichever one you want. But I just want to say to the citizens of Marshall County, if you don't have this, please contact someone. Get signed up for it. It is a lifesaver this time of year. And I want to, thank Donnie and James and Mike Eidelman for, letting us come in as the county to assist, and anytime y'all need us, we're here. We'll be willing to help. And I think we did a very good job in the first couple hours of getting people out of harm's way and getting stuff taken care of. Cleanup has gone extremely well, in my opinion. I've worked several FEMA disasters over my career, to hurricanes, to other tornadoes, and it's just been, and the citizens of Marshall County, we had some damage way out in the county, 6-7 miles away from the town, and we were hung up working traffic for down power lines, and the citizens got out and helped clear the trees. They stepped up. They knew we were busy. They knew that there had been loss of life and there was power lines, and they just stepped up and they took care of their own road for a minute, got them where we could get down, and we got back out there and cleaned it up today. So I want to give a special thanks to the citizens of Marshall County in their efforts to help us. So again, thanks to everybody in Marshall County that stepped up to help with this disaster.
Thank you, Robert.
I'd like to also to remind you that if for some reason that you have no power, do please call it in to let us know. And because that sometimes does happen. So do call that in. But also a reminder, anytime you see construction, please slow down and watch out for those that are out there working. And because so often they get missed, you might well say, and with traffic as it is, and everything's going crazy as involved in these tornadoes and the recovery time. Just watch out when you see construction. Slow down and watch out for the workers. Thank you.
Well, I think that has covered everything. Unless if there's anybody else who wants to jump in and add something to it to the discussion, just jump right in. But I think that we've probably got it pretty well done. Thank you so much to the first responders. When I drove up yesterday, it was well organized. Everything was maintained. The power was on, and people were showing up. And one of the things that I love about the district that I represent, and I think Tommy will probably reflect the same thing, is that on our state emblem we have the term work cures all, and that's Oklahoma. One thing I would say, though, that gets us in trouble on that is that when we have a disaster like this, what happens is people generally tend to just clean up and move on. And so I would kind of echo Donnie's sentiments about that to say, you know, if you had damage, please report it, because that's how we kind of get those FEMA dollars accessed to get in. But it made me so proud to pull up and see that many people up there sharing their heart and working. Very big thank you to the governor for coming in, for Congressman Mullins for coming in and assessing the damage and trying to work with us on ways to help our communities that were so hard hit by that storm. So with that, gentlemen, I think what we'll do is go ahead and close. And let me close this way. John F. Kennedy once said that it is not for us to curse the darkness, but to light a candle, which will shine a light to a safe and sane future. And so we look at the situations that we're in, and what we need now more than ever is to pick one another up, to reach out, make sure everybody's okay. Call your neighbor, make sure that they're good. Call your neighbor, make sure that they're filling out the census. Call your neighbor, make sure that they're okay after the tornado. And so I'm very thankful for the community that I serve. I'm very proud of you that you are lighting that candle and that you're lighting it for the state. And I'll close with this. It's my favorite verse in the Bible. It's Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you." And so in this time, let's not forget to pray and work with one another. Don't forget your churches and your nonprofits in your area for the donations, because they're going to be the ones picking up some of these the slack here on some of these things and the businesses around the area. Gentlemen, with that, if you would, let's bow our heads and pray over this real quick, and then we'll be dismissed. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus, and Father, we just thank you so much for the way that you're blessing us. Father, thank you for your protective hand over us in this time. Father, we pray for a spirit of courage in this time. And you told us 366 times in your word to fear not. That's one more than every day of the year. And so, Father, we just thank you so much that you come to us in this time, and that in these times you speak to us in ways that we never thought possible. I thank you, Father, number one, that you protected the people of Marshall County and all of my surrounding areas, but especially with Marshall County, the way that one hit. And Father, to only have 2 catastrophes is a protective hand, I believe, of you. And so I thank you for that. And Father, as we move forward, I pray for wisdom. I thank you for everyone in this room and everyone who's not in this room who are leading this area and this state. And we just thank you so much that you're here and that you listen. And Father, we ask all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you guys for listening to us, and hope you have a blessed day.